Okay, we're back into the Megillah. And today we're going to see an epic battle which just reading the Megillah you would not have had. Just those people who are new or from last class. Computers only onto blank pages for notes. Please put your phones away. I know it's difficult, but we're here. Let's focus. We're learning out of respect for the Torah that we're studying today. Attendance is a must. As I mentioned before, there will be a midterm that's going to go through everything we learn on Purim, obviously. Everything on the board. And anything I emphasize strongly must be written down in the Hebrew and the English. The Hebrew words and names and locations are very important for this class. Actually, all of my classes are. Those who know me well know I'm obsessed with Hebrew as well. Let's just do a quick recap of where we are. We are between the first and the second Beit HaMikdash. The temple was destroyed by the Babylonians. Nebuchadnezzar came destroyed. He ransacked the Beit HaMikdash and took all the stuff. Who took over from him? Belshazzar. He was in power not such a long time. And he also glorified his conquest of the temple. And he dressed up as the Kohen Gadol, which we're going to see again, and made a party to celebrate the end of the Jewish people. There was a how many year gap prophecy by Jeremiah telling us 70 years between the first and second temple. No one was exactly sure when that began or when it ended. Everyone had their opinions, and most of them were wrong. Most of them were wrong. Then took over Achasheverosh. We said his name is not his name, it's a title. And inside his name, we mentioned last class, is Achasheverosh. He gave the Jewish people a headache. An ach in the head. With his flip-flop rules. And we are going to we did open up the Megillah at the third year of his reign, when he was sitting comfortably on his throne. He had finally established himself and had power. How did he get his power? Let's discuss that today, because that's going to be very relevant. Girls, stick with me this morning. We're going to do something fascinating. And we're going to learn a lot about politics, kingship, power, and Judaism at the same time. Yeah?
Well, there's two ways. One, he murdered his way up, and two, he married Vashti.
Very, very good. So there's two ways that he consolidated his power. There's two ways that you get it, because he does not come from royal blood. He was a stable boy. So there's two ways that Achasheverosh established his power. And this is true today, by the way, as you're going to see very clearly in the news. Number one, you fight / kill in his, not everyone does that, your way up. I'm going to put over here, you can also prove yourself as a great leader, which he did. And we know he did well because he vastly increased the amount of territory that his kingdom controlled, which was how many provinces? 127, which was the same as we said last class, the years of Sarah Imenu. Esther took over that amount of power. So she's going to enter. She's not on the scene yet. She's a-coming. She's definitely coming. Okay. Number two, what's the other way you can get power? Gila, you said?
Yeah.
What did you say?
He married Vashti.
He married it. You marry into it. I know it's hard for you to believe that someone could marry into royalty just for the power. Really? Would someone do that? Just marry someone for prestige and honor? Beatrice, did you do that?
No.
I wouldn't. Okay. And I did. Baruch Hashem. I met a wonderful woman who gives me tremendous power. Okay, so that's what he did as well. Who? Who did he marry, my dear friends? They get Vashti. Where was Vashti from? She had royal blood. She had, as we say in England, blue blood. Heard that expression before? You wouldn't, you're from a republic. Blue blood means you marry, you have inner royalty. You come from a royal line. She did. Who was she? Where did she come from? Nebuchadnezzar. She was a granddaughter of Nebuchadnezzar, and she was taken by Achasheverosh at a very young age, and he married her because he was very unsure about his own power base. This was a political, but this was very common, right? You go back into the medieval ages, you see British kings would marry off their sons to enemies, children in France, daughters and princesses, in order to consolidate the power, in order to make peace between their nations. It sounds very self-serving, but when you're royalty, you're royalty. Right? It's good to be king. And that's just the way it was. What about love? Love? You don't got married for love. You got married for money, power, security, and advancement. And that's where we are right now. So we have, let's look at this very clearly, because this is very, very important for today's class. And that is, we have Achasheverosh, who comes from very humble beginnings, who's very paranoid that he's going to be overtaken by other leaders. Why is he nervous? Because Belshazzar took over from Nebuchadnezzar. He took over from Belshazzar. Next thing you know, Chalas, he's gone. He's a nobody. So what happens? He consolidates himself. He throws a big party. He invites lots of people, and he makes it into a Shushan party. First of all, remember, he invites the people from Shushan to have a special 7-day celebration at the end of the 6 months that he throws the other party for, in order to keep them close. Yeah.
How is Vashti considered royalty still if
Belshazzar is dead because she comes from royalty. She kept her name. She went from one royal leader to another. That's the way she saw it. Okay, so that's where we are right now. That's a very quick summary, but it's an important summary because Achasheverosh and Vashti are about to go to war. Big, big war. First of all, let's have a look at the party itself. We said it was 6 months, and it was decorated with all of the implements and the tapestries and the gold and silver from Beit HaMikdash. Very, very good. Says the pasuk in verse 6. Chor, carapas, utchelet. Tchelet is the blue dye that we get from the chilazon, that was used as a beautiful turquoise dye, greenish bluish dye, that was used in the Beit HaMikdash. So we have these all code words which Esther and Mordechai put in to say, by the way, when he threw this, but it wasn't just a party. He was really demeaning the Jewish people, and he's going to make it close to please, Natalie. And he was making, thank you, and he was making the Jewish people look really, really bad by going to the party. Okay? The Adam al-Gilli Kesef, there was silver, there was marble pillars, there was gold, Kalim, Shonim, beautiful old vessels. Everyone had their own personal silver and golden goblets, Yain Malchut, Rav Kiyad Melech, and you had as much wine as you wanted. As much wine as you wanted, and everyone was given wine that was older than them. If you were 20 years old, you got 21-year-old wine. If you were 40, 41-year-old wine. He really pulled out all the stops, because remember, he's ingratiating himself to all the people. And we said, Ein Ones. Ein Ones. He did not force anyone to drink. Ein Ones. They used to have drink competitions. People used to drink vast amount of wine. They used to drink from like buckets that had inside them 2 quarts, about half a gallon. Half a gallon of wine and alcohol they used to drink. Here, Ein Ones, no one was forced. You want to drink, you drink. You don't want to drink, you don't want to drink, you know. We're Jews, we don't drink that much. Jews are at the food station. Different opinions. Some say the food was actually kosher, right? Kedat V'din, it was kosher food and wine. He wanted everyone to come and feel comfortable and enjoy, because he, at the beginning of the dictatorship, you want people to support you. And everything's going great. It's fantastic. However, there's a woman. A really, really nasty woman whose name was Vashti. And I'll show you why she was so bad in a moment. But first of all, Achasheverosh is going, not right now, is going to have a problem with her. V'gam Vashti Amalka Asta Mishta. Vashti makes her own party. Vashti makes her own party. Now, you know, when I was a kid learning the story in yeshiva, as a 5-year-old, as a 7-year-old, 10-year-old, how did I understand those words? How do you read the story? She's very tznua. She's a modest woman. She wants her party because it's a men's party. She was not. That is incorrect. She had no problems whatsoever of mingling with the other gender, as we're going to see in a second. Why does she make her own party? From what I've told you, what's going on over here? Yeah.
Assert her own power.
Elisha is your name?
Abigail.
Abigail, yes. Why?
Assert her own power.
Assert her own power. Now, let's see if we can find a hint inside the Megillah, because that's what Esther and Mordechai are hinting at. And let's see. Gam Vasher Malka Asta Mishter, Nashim, just women. Where did she do it? Beit HaMalchut. In the Beit HaMalchut. Now, why is it telling us that? Who cares where it was? She made it in the palace. Where's Achasheverosh and his party? We're going to see in the Gina, outside. Outside. In the gardens, in the court. She's inside, as if to say, you're an outsider. My party's inside. And by the way, the last thing you want to do with someone who wants to take power from you, there's a lot of politics happening over here. The last thing you want to do with someone who wants politics is to let them in the palace and have them lock you out. You don't want that, my friends. And that's exactly what she did. She throws the party, says the Megillah, in the Beit HaMalchut, as if to say, I'm the Beit HaMalchut. You're a shmegegi. You just killed, right? Belshazzar. No, you didn't kill Belshazzar. You just took over the power from Belshazzar. You killed your way up. You took over. My grandfather's a real leader. You're outside. You're Chos Lazar, you're outside.
Was she forced married? Was she forced married?
Oh, in those days, yeah, she grabbed him. By the way, she could have voluntarily taken it. We're going to see, actually, when he looks for a new wife, he actually grabs many women off the street, and many of them applied for the position to be the 17th wife of the king, the 40th wife, and to have all the money and power, and you're taken care of, no one's going to hurt you. Back then, not a bad thing. People are willing to put up with many, many terrible things in order to protect themselves and their families, right? So it could be a little bit of both.
Wait, is the Beit HaMalchut outside?
Inside. She throws the party in the Beit HaMalchut. She's indoors and he's outdoors. And she's like saying to him, I'm going to do my party in here. This is really my palace. Oh, one thing you don't want to do is irritate the dictator. Right? When that happens, what happens? You're dead. You don't want that. You don't want to upset a dictator, right? Nachon? Great. Look at the next verse. Sully even tells me a little weird piece of information. You've got to pick up on these words. Bayom hashvi ketov lev hamelech b'yayin. It's on the 7th day. The 7th day. Why do I care when the following events are going to happen? Yom HaShvi'i. Why do I care about that? Why do I care about that? Why is that important to me?
Is the 7th day Shabbat?
Is the 7th day Shabbat? Somebody's answer that question. Yes, it is. Who said that? Good job, Anya. Why do I care that it's Shabbat? Why do I care that everything that's about to happen took place on Shabbat? Why is that important? What am I learning from this? You have to know something quite interesting, yeah.
So the timing of Shabbat can be 7 days from anything.
Because the Megillah, this is Mordechai and Esther sending us a hidden code. And they're telling us that it's the 7th day. And if it's in a Jewish book, 7th day equals Shabbat. And the Gemara corroborates this. And says, not only do we know that it's Shabbat, we know something else which you may not be aware of. And that is Vashti. Vashti knew something that most non-Jews and even many Jews were not aware of. And what's that? Shabbat saves the Jewish people. Shabbat saves the Jewish people. There's no greater Haganah, defense, the Jewish people have than Shabbat. And do you know what she used to do? By the way, in case you're part of the I Feel Sorry for Vashti fan club, let me get rid of that. She would take Jewish women on Shabbat, would strip them naked to embarrass them and shame them, beat them and make them work in order to say, look at the Jews over here. They're breaking Shabbat. They don't deserve to be taken back to Yerushalayim, back to Israel, and be saved. You hate her yet? Good. I hope you do. So we're going to see another principle that's going to come up many times in the Megillah, and it's called this. Midah Neged Midah. Measure for measure. And this is something you see right through Jewish history, but one of the places you learn a lot about it is from the Megillah. Hashem whether you realize it or not, pays back measure for measure. Whatever you put out is how Hashem and the spiritual world treats you. So she used to embarrass and hurt and offend the Jewish women and beat them and torture them on Shabbat. Her demise, my dear friends, came on Shabbat as well, and she's going to meet a very grisly end, which some of you may not want to hear the way it actually happened. I'll give you the real story in a second, on Shabbat as well. We're not there right yet. Yes, Erica?
Isn't that idea similar to karma?
So karma, as people call it, is not a Jewish concept.
Yeah.
Mika neged mida is what you put out into the world, bein am l'chaveira, the way you treat other people. Hashem, the spiritual world, is going to treat you. It doesn't come from karma. It comes from Hakadosh Baruch Hu. There's a cause and there's an effect, and it's coming from Shemayim, and it's perfect measure for measure. Perfect measure for measure. The spiritual world, but karma is based upon how you treat other people, right? This is the way mida neged mida.
Isn't that kind of the same? Like if you treat.
We're saying it comes from Hakadosh Baruch Hu, from Hashem,
Well, yeah.
the spiritual world. So if that's how you're defining it, fine. I don't think that's the classical interpretation of it, but yeah, that's mida neged mida. Okay, so he gets drunk. It's on the seventh day, right? He's pretty much wasted. Amalam Human. So what does he do? He wants to claim back a little bit of power. How are you going to claim back the power? How's he going to send a message to Vashti that she's overstepping her boundaries? Right? He's king in the eighth. Right? He wants to control all these wives of his. What's he going to do? Belittle her. Well, how are you going to do that?
Doesn't he ask her like?
Yep, he does. He's going to ask her, and he's going to turn to his sarisim. Lemuhuman bizta harvona bigtam va'abachata zakar v'karchas shivra sarisim. 7 of his people harashatim epnei hamelach Achasheverosh, who serve him, and he says lahavi et Vashti hamalka. Send for me. Who?
Vashti the queen.
Vashti the queen. Send Vashti hamalka. What's interesting about that? What's interesting about Vashti hamalka? Anything unusual about that? Vashti hamalka?
Is the Vashti the queen?
As opposed to what?
Yeah.
What do we call the Queen of England? The Queen of England, right?
Oh, she's Vashti.
Ah, very, very good. So he says, bring me Vashti hamalka. Bring me Vashti, because that's who she is. She's just a name. She's a malka, but only because of me, because I married her. So bring me Vashti hamalka. That, my friends, is a dig. That's a dig that he sends. Okay? She's Vashti. Happens to be a malka. Lifnei hamelech becheter malchut. In her royal crown. In her royal crown. What do I need to know that for?
And nothing else.
Right. Clothing, we said, is a theme. So far, we saw Achasheverosh dressed up as the Kohen Gadol. Belshazzar dressed up as the Kohen Gadol. She now is being told to come in her crown, and only her crown. He asked her to come naked, nude, in order to dance for the people who are there. So he's belittling her, he's degrading her. And by the way, she probably would have come, but look how he describes her. Laharot ha'amim, to show the people, Vasarim et yafia ki tov marahi, because she's beautiful. Which, by the way, she could have been. She could have been. But what is he doing? He's limiting her to only her physical beauty. Now, we're going to see that Esther was also extremely beautiful. And the beauties are compared. But her beauty was, Esther's beauty was merely the exterior of a tremendous inner beauty that shone through her. When we get to Esther, we'll discuss that a little bit more. That's going to be very, very important. Esther was considered one of the beautiful women in Jewish history who used her inner charisma and beauty of her actions. And she was a beautiful woman, just like Yosef HaTzadik was also extremely handsome man, probably the most handsome man in Jewish history, spoken about. Use their powers of beauty and success in order to enhance the world. Vashti is using it to degrade and belittle the world. Now look what happens now. So he says, bring it to me. She's good looking. Hey, come dance for me in only a royal crown. You hate Achasheverosh yet? You hate Vashti? Great, my job is done. Look what she says. Look at this amazing. We're on verse 12, those who are following. We're going to go slowly here because this is the build-up. V'tama'en. What does v'tama'en mean? V'tama'en. You see that a few times in the Torah, in a couple of places, and usually, or sometimes it comes with a shalshelet on top. V'tama'en. Oh, here it doesn't. You don't read it like that, I don't think, right? Right, but that's how it's read by the Torah. You know what v'tama'en means? Absolutely refuse. Not just like, meh, I don't think so. She's like, are you kidding me? Do you know who I am? You want me to come and dance for you naked? I'm inside the palace. You're outside. I'm from royalty. You're a shmagegi who just fought your way up. Get out of here. Wow. It's getting heated under the collar. And look at what happens next. Look at the next word. What's the next word say? V'hamalka Vashti Laba. Says Valka Vashti, I ain't coming. She responds to him, I'm Malka Vashti. I am the queen whose name is Vashti. So he's calling her Vashti Malka. She's like, you go tell him, you go tell that Shmegegi, Achasheverosh, that Queen Vashti is not coming. It's all encoded. It's all there for you to see it, my friends. She's like, I ain't coming. There's not a Jew in sight. It's Achasheverosh, it's Vashti. Why do I need to know this information? Who cares? Let's get to Mordechai and Esther and get on with the story. It's very important. Number one, we need to see that the redemption of the Jewish people is coming at the darkest times and the darkest places. We're seeing that Kadosh Baruch Hu is taking care of our enemies even before we set on the scene. Vashti's being taken out before there's even a decree against us. I'll say that again. Before the Jewish people even turn up on the scene, before our problems even come, the redemption is at hand. We call this, or the Gemara calls this, that the HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings the refuah before the makkah. He brings the healing before the smack. That's narrow Shisha of the nations, yeah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu brings the refuah lifnei ha-makkah. Right? The refuah, the healing comes before the smack.
But where's the healing?
Oh, Vashti's being taken out. Achashverosh loses her. He's going to find a new wife. He's going to end up finding a Jewish woman called Esther without knowing that she's Jewish or where she's from. So before Haman's decree comes, see?
Yeah.
And where are all the Jewish people? All the Jewish people are here. Where was the center of the empire of the world before this? In Bavel. Remember that? Nebuchadnezzar from Bavel. What has Achashverosh done? He's relocated where the Jews are. Notice, right through Jewish history, here as well obviously, that where all the action is where the Jews are. You ever thought of that? Do you ever think about that? Is it that we get somewhere and we create it, like some would claim against us, or is it that wherever the Jews are, Kadosh Baruch Hu brings the events to that place? Because we have a job to do in that location. We're involved. Right? We're never subservient to like some weird tribe in the middle of nowhere. Jewish people, this was the empire, center of the world empire, as was Spain, as was Mitzrayim beforehand, America, Britain, wherever you are, there's always Jews involved with it. This is not a coincidence. Kadosh Baruch Hu puts the Jewish people where they need to be in order for us to fulfill our mission in this world, to be an or lagoyim, a light into the nations. It's not a coincidence. So the trouble is following us. We get kicked out of Israel. Oh, we'll see her in Persia. Here we come. Here comes Achashverosh, and he makes the empire, boop, exactly where the Jews are. Okay, and what does he do? Achashverosh gets very, very angry. And it tells us how angry. She refuses. Achasheverosh v'yiksaf hamelech mod v'chamati barabah. V'yiksaf hamelech katsaf. Katsaf. What does katsaf mean? Anger. It's like an external anger. It's like a frothy anger. Katsaf. Katsaf. And then it says, it gives another word for anger. What does it say? Look inside. Right afterwards. V'yiksof melech ma'od v'chamato. He's got chema. What's chema? Chemato. Heat. Where is the chema? Where is the anger? Bo. Inside him. Ketzaf. He was outwardly angry. That's the ketzaf. And the chema, it is inside. He was fuming. Fuming. He was, this did not...
Wait, so that word means heat?
Heat, right. Chema means heat, but here it means anger. It's like, I was hot inside. It means I'm very angry. When a person's angry, their face gets all red, they're hot. Alright? They're, like in the cartoons, the steam comes out of their nose. Alright? It comes from the Hebrew. Vayiksof means outward angry. And maybe that would have been it. You know when you tell your kids off, right? Outward, you're angry, inside you're calm. Maybe not. Actually, I'll tell my kids off, chema and ketzaf, right? He's angry outside, he's angry inside. The two are matching. He's really angry. So the Megillah is telling us how bad it really is. So he's now going to go for advice. He has to know how to deal with this woman. Why does he care? Why does he just go and do what most dictators do? Like, why doesn't he pull a King Henry VIII and chop off her head, make shish kebab out of her? Why doesn't he do that? He's the king. Do whatever he wants. He's murdered and plundered and killed his way to the top.
He probably has powerful relatives, though.
Not at this point.
Kill your wife makes you look bad.
Yeah.
Really? Have to remember that.
Yeah.
Kill your wife makes you look bad. Mental note. Don't.
Like he was throwing a party to make them all
Nah.
stressed.
Why? Okay, you're right. It's going to make him look bad. Look bad to who?
The people.
The party.
He doesn't care about the Jews.
He wanted
Okay, but
people,
everybody
he wanted
else
one
wants to
slippers.
He's looking to win people over. He feels weak. He's got to gain their power.
His future wife, the next wife.
There is no next wife yet. There is no next wife yet.
Why would the Jews-
There is no next wife yet. It's just him. What's he doing?
To his servants, because those are the people.
Doesn't care about the servants. He cares about
Vashti's supportive.
Yeah.
Vashti's supporters. She's got supporters, right? She's Princess Diana. She's got a little bit of support over there, right?
Yeah.
She's the Queen of Hearts, right? She what? You know what I'm talking about? You don't follow British royalty?
Yeah, I know what the Queen of
Of course, that's all you follow. It's America, we're going to say. You have no other royalty of your own. Right? What have you got? The Kardashians, right? We got the real royalty here. No, seriously, you learn a lot from this. Right? World history is made up of kings and queens and power struggles. That's happening. And the Jewish people are finding their way right inside it. And so what's going on over here? What's going on is that Vashti is now got a lot of support, and he's going to be very, very careful. He's going to have to figure out a way. Thank you so much, Meitan. He's going to have to figure out a way to deal not just with her. I'm going to have to get a stand for this, right? I'll buy one. Thank you. He's going to have to find a way to deal with the supporters and those who are for and against. And just killing her may not solve his problems. It may actually make his problems worse. He's still just a stable boy who made his way up. He's still just a regular guy. He's going to have to really figure out how he's going to deal with the people that support her and his own insecurities. But he makes a decision. Remember, Shevat al Beit Malchut. He is confident now. He's in his third year. Still, he's going to ask for advice. Who does he speak to? Very interesting. He speaks to various groups. He speaks to Chachamim, Yodei Ha'itim. Who are they? Yodei Ha'itim.
The Jews.
Yodei Ha'itim. We're going to see two interpretations of the Yodei, right? Ha'itim. Yodei means, literally means that they know the times. They know the times. Not the New York Times. They know the times. So one opinion is, this actually is a reference to the Jewish people, who are the leaders of the Jewish people, who are actually experts in calculating the times, calculating the calendar, the moon. The Jews were experts in time, in Chodesh. Oh, today's Rosh Chodesh, lovely. Figure out when Rosh Chodesh was. They were the experts. So the Yodei Itim were the Jewish leaders. That's one interpretation. That's a bit of a drush. It's a bit of a drush, right? But he went to the Jews, right? You know what I'm saying? You want some Jewish counsel. tell me, you know everything, you know the times, you know what's going. The second interpretation is more likely to be the right interpretation, although it may include this, and that is, what does know the times mean?
Knows what's going on.
They know what's going on. They know the temperature, as it were, of the people. They know what's happening. They know what's happening. They got the temperature. They got the finger on the pulse. Tell me, if I kill this woman, is that the end of my power? Are they going to rebel against me? Are they going to be upset? Are there still Nebuchadnezzar supporters out there? Or am I going to be okay? So he went to the people who knew, who had the finger on the pulse. He went to social media, right? He went to his advisors who knew what the feeling on the street was. Because the last thing he needs at this point is a rebellion. That's the last thing he needs. Well, let's finish off the verse. Ki, Kendavar Melech, they call Yodei Dat V'Din. And then he goes to another group. He goes to Yodei Ditin, and those who know Dat and Din. What's Dat and Din? They know the laws. Then he went to the lawyers. Usually you start with the lawyers, and you go, no. The lawyers, I'll get to in a second. First of all, I want to see what the public opinion, that's what this is. What's the public opinion right now in this whole, because he's stuck in his palace. He doesn't know what the people are thinking. He's using this party as a way to accrue support and power. So he's going to them. One second, both of you, I've got a second. Right? Kendavar Melech, Lefnekol Yodei Dat V'Din. V'Akarav Elav, and then he goes to a group of people who are really close to him. And who are they? Shesar, Admasa, Tarshish, Meris, Merasalam, Amuchan, Shivasari. 7 people are very close to him. 7 people very close to him. Now, who these people are, I don't know. But one of them is identified. And the name is significant that it's given to him at this point. And the fact that he listens to him, although he's mentioned 7th. Now, if you're going to list the people who mean or the most to you in the government, you name them according to power. You start with the prime minister, right? The president. Then you get to the vice president, right? Then you get to the leader of the house, and you work your way down. If you're mentioned last, you are the smallest. Who does he mention last? And it's going to be important because he's going to listen to him first. That's important. Memuchan is what he's referred to. Memuchan. Memuchan. What kind of name is that? It's an unusual name, isn't it? Memuchan. Okay, that's interesting. Hold on to him for a second. Put Memuchan into your brain, not too deeply, because he's not a good person. Paras Umadai, he was one of the leaders of Paras. Roipnei Melech, Hayoshvim Rishon Malchut. He was one of the 7 people who sat around the king and was an advisor. But he was the smallest advisor, and we know that because he's mentioned 7th. And he wants to know, what should I do about the situation? Kedat Malasob Malka Vashti. Alashe, he goes, what am I going to do with Malka Vashti? Why is it called Malka Vashti? He's not. He's talking to her the way she's talking to him. What am I going to do about this woman who calls herself Malka Vashti? Because she's causing me trouble over it. She's embarrassing me, not listening to me. I feel rebellion is afoot. Mutiny is on its way to take me out of power. And one thing dictators don't like is some person, especially a wife, taking the power. What am I going to do? And he asks and look at verse 16. Tet Zayin. Vayomer Mumuchan Lefnei Melech. He answers. By the way, some say, what an idiot. Whoever this guy is, you wait for the second in command to answer, then number 2, number 3. Now this guy jumps forward and he gives his opinion. And we all know what his opinion is going to be. Who is Memuchan?
Haman.
It's a code word for Haman. That's right. Why is he called Memuchan? What does Muchan mean? Write this down. What does Muchan mean? Ready. He's Mr. Ready. Ready for what? What's he ready for? 2 things. 1, take power. He's ready to go up in power. This is his chance to go up, which, by the way, is effective. But for the Jewish people, we said the refuah comes for the makkah.
What is the Muchan?
Muchan means ready. Right? Or in Hebrew, you say Mukhan for a male and Mukhanah for a female. Mukhan is ready. In modern Hebrew. His name is Mr. Ready. Ready, set, go. So he's Mukhan la Liyah, but he's also Mukhan la Yurida. So before he has any real power, which he doesn't because he's number 7 at this point, he's got to jump up the pecking order because of this advice. Maybe Achasheverosh realizes what he's dealing with here and wants to keep his friends close, but his enemies even closer, but we'll come to that later on. But he's also, from our point of view, Kodesh Baruch Hu is getting him ready for his fall, even before he's gone up. Right? So Hashem, Mordechai and Esther, the Megillah is telling us, you know what? He's going up, but Kodesh Baruch Hu's got us. Hashem has already prepared his downfall before he's even gone up in power over here. So we're ready to get him. He's ready for his downfall even before he's gone up. Because the refuah always precedes the makkah. The healing always precedes the smack. He says, what's the problem, he says? He's like, I'm going to tell you what to do with her. Because once this gets out, look what he's doing. He's channeling into the extreme neurotic psychosis of a precarious dictator. Do not ask me to repeat that, I couldn't. But remember, all dictators are freaking out that their power's about to be taken away, their money, their wealth, right? So he's freaking out. So he's going to play into that. He's going to be like, by the way, you're going to have to kill her. Why? Because if you don't, you're going to really upset a lot of other people. How? Because it's going to be found out what happened, that this wife didn't listen to this husband, and what's going to happen? All other wives are going to start rebelling against their wives. You're going to start a whole feminist movement. The men are going to get upset with you, and the wives aren't going to rebel against you. Their husbands are. He creates an absolutely absurd, non-existent, ridiculous scenario.
Yeah, that is.
Absolutely ridiculous. And Achasheverosh falls for it because he's wasted. He's totally drunk. He falls for it. He falls for this ploy. And he even sends out a decree saying, from now on, women cannot rebel against their husbands. Imagine getting that to the mail. From the President of America. Dear homeowner, please make sure, notify there's a new rule in the land. Do not rebel against your husbands. What did everyone say? This guy's a Meshuggah. And you know what happened? They did. They realized they're dealing with a completely unstable mental man. And you know what happened because of that? When the next decree came out, many years later to kill all the Jewish people that's coming later, they'd be like, oh, here he goes again, with the Meshuggah decrees. So this decree, God bless you, actually helped lessen, God bless you, the future decree that hadn't yet happened, hadn't yet come yet. There was a decree that hadn't yet occurred, and that was going to occur, and this was going to help prepare the people to not accept that decree. Are you following? So all of this is a setup for the main scene. Okay? So he makes it, so he tells them what to do. He says, write out this thing, let it go out, and send it. Why? Verse 19. Lo tovot Vashti lifnei HaMelech Achasheverosh. Vashti cannot come out. Now, the Megillah does not actually tell us that he kills her. Why not? Why not? Why do you think the Megillah does not tell us that he kills her? He does. Actually, I believe he hangs her. I think then he chops her head off, and then he actually brought her head on a platter to the party.
Yeah.
Is correct. Right? That's what he did to Vashti. But why does the Megillah not tell us?
You don't write stuff like that about it too?
Mikol, one second, Hannah.
Is he still alive while they're reading this?
He is still alive in the right. So what? He's the one who killed her. Erica?
I was going to say the same thing. Like, you can't completely talk 100% trash.
About who?
On us.
True, but there's some other aspect over here. Yeah?
Maybe the fact that he regretted what he did afterwards.
He loved her. He really actually was madly in love with her. It wasn't just the power. He really, really loved her. And until Memucan came forward with the advice, he would have kept her alive. That's why he went for advice how to deal with her. Because he wanted her to stay alive. And he would have just shot her in the back of the head, like most dictators do. But he wanted to find a way to keep her alive and still fix it. He couldn't find a way. Memucan talked him into saying, you got to kill her. You got to kill her. It's going to be terrible. Women are going to hear about this. They're going to rebel. The men are going to rebel against you. End of your empire. So he goes into his psychosis, his neurosis. He's drunk. We all know make the decision. Well, you shouldn't because you're under 21. But most people know when they drink the bad decisions that they make. Right? You wouldn't know.
No.
I do. Right? You don't want to do that. And therefore, he is going to not have it written. Mordechai and Esther did not write it in the Megillah because when he was going to reread it, he'd be like, oh my goodness, what did you do? How did this happen? And he's going to hurt and upset him. And when they presented Megillah Esther to him at the end, which he got to read at the end, right? He's being whitewashed in this story, and he's going to see that he killed her. It's going to upset him. And you don't want to upset the leader of the unfree world, let alone the free world, definitely the unfree world. So we're not told, but the Gemara tells us, okay, what he did to her, and of course it happened on that day, on Shabbat, Mida keneged Mida. You got the Jewish people on Shabbat, you get stuck on Shabbat as well. So he got hurt on Shabbat because he loved her. She got hurt on Shabbat because of what she did to the Jewish people. Every imbalance is being weighed over here. Okay? Very, very good. So everyone heard about this decree. It went out that you have to do this. He sends out all of these books saying this is a new law. Right? And everyone had to understand what they were dealing with. And by the way, this is amazing because when the other decree came out, we said they were ready for it. Chapter 2 opens with a very interesting word. What is the first word in chapter 2? What does it say? Say it, read it. Achar. What does achar mean?
After.
After. How can you say after? There's two ways to say after. How can you say after? Achar and acharei. Achar is part of the same thing, I think. Acharei. You ever seen both written? Achar and acharei. What's the difference between achar and acharei?
One's after and after this. One's after and back.
No, that's vayihi is before. Achar and acharei is also the word pen. You can say maybe in two ways. Pen and ulai. Ulai means something is going to happen, may not be bad, maybe it's going to happen. Pen means lest something really bad happens. Okay? So you see different words for the same thing, but have different nuances. Achar means after. Acharei means long after. Right? This is achar. That means what's about to happen, happened right after. Right after these events, and because of these events. Because of these events. What's about to happen is connected to what just happened. Don't think Esther ended up taking power just by coincidence. It's all related. All related. Achar Hadavarim HaMelech, as you will maybe one day find out, after he sobered up, Kishar Hamas HaMelech, he's now calmed down from his anger because he was upset. And he loved her. And he's calmed down and he's literally sobered up. Zachar et Vashti. He remembers Vashti, vet kol shasta vet nigzar leah, and what he said about her, and what he did to her, and who he listened to about what he did. He says, okay, fine. You're going to have to find someone else. Because the king needs a queen.
Didn't he have a lot of other wives?
He had many women at his disposal in his harem, and he's about to add to that number exponentially, but he doesn't have a figurehead. He doesn't have a figurehead. And there's a part to royalty and majesty that we see to this day, although they don't have it too much, that kings and queens, even if they don't have power, which nowadays the Queen of England does not have power, right? She just signs off. but she's a figurehead. She represents the country. She represents the people. And people need that. They want to see stability in their kingdom, and they want to see a king, and they want to see a queen, and that's what the people want, and that's what his advisors say he needs to get, and so he's going to have to find someone to replace. Now, what's the last thing you want? What's the last thing you want after this whole episode? If you're Achasheverosh, someone like Vashti. Meaning, someone from royalty. Some royalty. You want someone who is a nice, quiet, Najib woman who's going to listen and be good and keep their mouth shut and happy to be something Hamalka and not Malka something. Right? Right? Once bitten, twice shy. Okay? He doesn't want some loudmouth who's going to go on social media, go on TV, and do you know what he did to me? And he treats me like this. And someone's going to take the hearts of the people. Because then what happens? Give it another year or so, gone. This doesn't happen in democracies. Because in democracies, after 4 years or 8 years, they're gone anyway. But royalty lasts forever. And to their children and their children's children, you're seeing it right now. Right? We have a beautiful demonstration of how you got to be careful who you marry, when you marry them, what they represent, where they come from. It's yichus. It's big stuff. Okay, so what does he do? He has to go on a wife capturing tour. So that's basically what it is. Sorry for saying it. Don't shoot me. Don't shoot me. No, seriously, don't shoot me. Sandy!
So he wasn't like...
So you're applying for the position of Achasheverosh?
No.
Okay, Baruch Hashem.
So he wasn't,
Chas v'chalila meital. Lovely girl like Sandy. Yes.
so he wasn't like mad at Hama for advising him that way?
You know what? He's acting smart. At this point, he's not. He realized he's dealing with a person. He thought the decree was true, and he's going to start to elevate him in power. He's going to see him as a partner. Doesn't mean it's not his BFF, but he's going to see him as a partner. It's good, it's good. Yeah.
Keep your friends close and marry his kids.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. Yeah. But he sees a wisdom in him. Yeah.
What religion does he practice? Is polytheistic or?
We're not told, interesting enough. In that day, there were everything. Right? There were fire worships, over about Zara. We'll see that Amalek we know. Amalek we know very, very clearly what his religious background was, and it wasn't so high. He came from Amalek, and he was pretty much a atheist. Yep, an idol worshiper. Yeah.
So don't tell they know time. So that only the Jewish people, or?
Well, no. One opinion was this refers to the Jewish people. Another opinion was it was the people who knew what was happening in the kingdom. Okay, so he makes. Now, when I was a kid, I got a version of the story that a bunch of women lined up, and this is how my Rebbe, right, as a 10-year-old, he'd tell us, and my kids described it, and he said, this one's toe is too big, this one's toe is too small, I can't marry this one. Did you hear that?
Yes.
That's not what happened. And when I found out what really happened, I was like, OMG. He did what? Okay, first of all, they got to gather together all these women from the entire world. He's going to end up marrying someone from Shushan. Right? Isn't that true in dating? You go schlepping here, that, everywhere, you end up with the guy who lives next door, right? So that's number one. But he's going to go and he's going to have his people travel. Now, different. Some say they had beauty contests in every Medina, with 127 of them, and one was selected from each. And some say no. Literally grabbing women off the streets, and many of them volunteered to be taken. So some went against their will, of which Esther, we're going to see, is one of them. We're going to see V'tila Kach Esther. She was taken against her will. She did not want this to happen. But it was destined to happen. She had no control over it. But many of them volunteered and came forward, and he would take them, and he would imprison them. Remember, these men, these leaders had tremendous power. They could do whatever. They were the judge, the jury, the executioner. That's what he's going to do. Basically, jokes aside, these are disgusting individuals who the Jewish people had problems with. And maybe you should appreciate the fact they went to the party was why this whole decree came around. One reason the decree against the Jewish people is going to come around. They gather, just gather like cattle right? Like animals. Gad these betulot, these young single women, Tov and Mara el Shushan Habira, to Shushan Habira. I'm going to come to Shushan Habira. Shushan Habira is different to Shushan. I'll get to it a little bit later on. We're going to see that is where the palace was situated. It is the capital that was actually separated by a moat, right? Because he's got to control his power from everywhere else, from Shushan itself, El Beit HaNashim, to the house of the women where the women were kept. El Yad Hagas Siris Melech, he had a eunuch, right? Because he can't take in too much chances. Who's running his women's home? Shomer HaNashim, who's guarding it. V'naton Tamrukeihem. And he starts to apply Tamrukeihem, which is cosmetics. What does he do? He keeps them trapped for an entire year to see if they're beautiful in the summer. Some people look good in the summer. Some look good in the fall. Some look good in the autumn, right? Fall. Some look good in the winter, right? And some look good in the spring. He needs someone who's going to look good all year. He's looking for someone who he's going to keep on his arm wherever he goes, and is going to look absolutely beautiful and represent his kingdom very, very well. That's what he's looking for. That's what he's looking for. And so he applies cosmetics to them. After 1 year, they are brought to him and they are raped. After which, unless they consented. But if they weren't a consenter, they were raped, at which point, what happened to them? They got to go home, back to one of their provinces.
Can't they not sleep with anyone else after?
Oh, absolutely not. They can't go home. They can't marry anybody else. Why not? You can't have some woman saying, yeah, this is my husband. Do you know who I was with her last week? 2 months ago? Kingy was with me. That looks terrible upon him. And therefore, they were trapped, which some people were very happy with, by the way. And some people were absolutely desperate about. Terrible. They had to spend the rest of their lives in his personal harem for his own personal pleasure. And that was their destiny for the rest of their lives. Okay? And some say there's 127 of them. 126 was one of them, obviously, was anointed king, a queen. Okay? And that's what I had to deal with. Let's look at some with verse 4 in chapter 2, those who are following. V'hanara she'tetiv bein yamech, whoever was beautiful in his eyes, timloch tachat Vashti. He's looking for a Vashti replacement. He's looking for someone who's going to take the position of Vashti because he loved her, right? And he wanted someone who was going to be with him the same way that he was with her, with Vashti. He listened to the advice, he followed the advice from advisors, and that's exactly what he did. So now he's got scouts who are spending days, weeks, maybe months, schlepping around the entire world to bring him the choicest individual, right, in order for him to marry. Yeah.
So in the text it says, "Let beautiful young virgins be sought out for your majesty." But if they're all married, then how?
They're not married.
Oh, I thought he only.
No. No, heaven forbid. He only took single women. He can't deal with They doesn't want to upset anybody. He doesn't want to upset them too much, right? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But all single young women. We're saying that afterwards they couldn't marry. After they'd been with him, they couldn't marry. No, they were all young single women, right? He's got to take someone, and then he doesn't want someone coming. Oh yeah, my husband said to me that you're not so good. I can't deal with that. Yeah.
He raped Esther too.
Let's have a look at that. Yes, he's going to. Let's meet another very important person in the story, and his name is Mordechai. And look at the introduction we're giving to this very important central character to our story. He is described by a number of very interesting appellations. Ish Yehudi. Ish Yehudi. There was a Yehudi, Haya B'Shushan Habira. What? What do you mean in Shushan Habira? There's a Jew, or talk about this, actually, this is very important. He's the first person in Jewish history who was called a Yehudi, a Jew. This is the source of it, my friends. This is the source. He's the first person called a Jew. Not from the tribe of Yehuda. He's from the tribe of Binyamin. He's the first person to be called a Jew. Okay? So now, since the destruction of the temple, the dispersion, all the people are now going to be called Yehudim. He's the first one to be called Mr. Jew Boy. Right? Ish Yehudi, which by the way is not a Jew boy. It's a beautiful compliment. Yehudi, from Lashon Hoda. We give thanks to Hashem. We're grateful to Kodesh Baruch Hu. It's a beautiful name that is now not going to apply just to people from Yehuda, but from everyone. Okay? Ish Yehudi Hayab Shushan Habira. Where is Shushan Habira? Where is Shushan Habira? What do we say? Let's discuss it now. Shushan Habira is the capital. That is the power base. That is, right? That's Capitol Hill in Washington. Yeah, right? That's where it's all happening. It's Pennsylvania Avenue. It's all happening. All the decisions are happening over there. What do I know about him already? I know one, he's Jewish. He's an Ish, which is a nice name called Ish as a man. He's a good individual. Right? He's Yehudi. He's proud of his Judaism. He displays it. He's in the Bira. He's part of the advisors. He's part of the inner, I won't say inner, but he's part of the circle that's surrounding the leadership. So he's got a position of power over here. He's got a very important position of power. Okay? He's part of the Bira crew. Right? He's in the town hall. He's in Congress. He's in Congress. Right? Even in enemy nations, right? There's a Jew who's welcome to Congress. But don't worry. He's an Ish and he's a Yehudi. He's not one of those people who, a Jew gets power and then forgets his people. First thing you should know is Ish Yehudi. And he's got a position of power. Good news, right? We want people to care about their Judaism and the Jews holding a position of power. We don't want Jews who could become potential presidents who don't give two cahoots about their people and about the land of Israel, which they had been exiled from. You get me, sisters? Ushmo Mordechai. His name is Mordechai. Let's analyze this name. Let's analyze this name. The Gemara says, we mentioned it last class, Esther Torah Menayin. Where is Esther in the Torah? And we said, Anochi Hastir Astafarna, I'm going to hide my face. Achasheverosh, his name's on the Torah. Haman, we saw, we're going to see, is in the Torah. Haminate says that. He's part of the Nachash, that snaky creature, character, and he's going to continue in that tradition as well. Mordechai is Mordror. Mordachia, says Onkelos. He is like a beautiful, crushed, beautiful smelling spice. He is like a beautiful smelling spice. On the outside, it is what it is. But you put pressure on it, you crush it, the goodness comes out. Some people, when do they become fantastic and famous and amazing? When they go through tremendous struggles. And that is what is happening. It's about to happen to Mordechai. Right? Because who's about to be taken? Who is his cousin, and according to many opinions, his wife. His wife. So over here, Anya, he's going to end up with a wife, but Achashverosh doesn't know it's his wife. Now that's interesting.
Does he know that she's married? Does he know that she's married?
She wouldn't have got the job. Look at it. Mordechai's going to tell us specifically, do not tell them you're married. Do not tell them you're married. If they're coming for you, I believe there's a reason why. Right? Ben Yair. Yair is he brought, once I'm going to get to the name, come to you one second. I'm not ignoring you for a second. Chas v'chalila. Yair, he brought tremendous light, right, to the people, right? Ben Shimi, because of him, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to listen. Shema, Shimi, Ish, Ben Kish. Kish means to knock. He knocked on the doors of heaven with his tefillot, and they were answered. Each one of these names are ancestors of his, who were all very righteous people, but they're also hints to his character. Okay? So he was the son of Yair, the grandson of Shimi, who was the son of Kish, Ish Yemini. Now, that's really, really important. Ish Yemini. The others are just like telling us characteristics of who he was and the great people he came from, right? Hashem listened to him, he brought light, right? But what's Ish Yemini? Right, means the person from the tribe of Benjamin. He came from Benjamin. Does anyone know which other really famous Jew came from the tribe of Benjamin that he is I know you're the answer, I'm not going to ask you, who he is a direct son of. The Megillah goes out of its way to give us his lineage, and this is going to be really important for our story. His great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather came from Binyamin. Probably the most famous person from the tribe of Binyamin was... You know it? King Saul, the first ever Jewish king. Wait a minute. Don't kings come from Yehuda? Don't kings come from Yehuda? Yes, they do. As Mashiach will as well. We'll get to Mashiach at the end of the class because all of this is a prelude to Mashiach. That's in a moment. Why is it important that he comes from the tribe of Binyamin and he's the son of King Saul? Why does the Megillah go out of its way to tell us this? What is it about King Saul that's important?
Is it that like he didn't fulfill killing Amalek?
Right. So now, there's one thing we know about King Saul that made him lose the kingship that actually transferred from his tribe. It went from Saul to David, from Binyamin to Yehuda. What mistake do we see in Tanakh that made him lose his power base, King Saul? He was meant to kill someone. Who? Another king, the king of Amalek, who was called King Agag. King Agag was his name. And King Saul let him live an extra night. He procreated that one night. Next day he killed him. He was told to wipe out this nation of Amalek. Who are Amalek? We're going to visit later on. The bad people. He went to war against them. He didn't kill Agag. Right? The prophet, as I said, you didn't kill Agag. You're in big trouble, the prophet said. And because of that, you're going to lose your kingship. Hashem has given up on you. It's going to move not just from you, but the King Saul was a great man. A great tzaddik, but he made a mistake. And it affected his entire tribe. So we're going to see that King Saul didn't kill Melech Agag, king of Amalek. King Saul's great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson, whose name was Mordechai, is going to continue that battle and take out Hagagi, Haman the Agagite. So the Megillah is not identifying as Amalek, but it's going to say, you should know, by the way, this guy was coming from Agag. He's a great descendant of his. So you have two people fighting. Jewish history, solutions don't happen within one lifetime, one generation. It sometimes takes decades or centuries for things to work out and for battles to finally end up being taken care of. And so Mordechai was the person, he realized this, to take on Haman. Because my great-great-great-grandfather and your great-great-grandfather had this battle, and decades, if not centuries later, he's going to come forward and he is going to take on this battle. 1 second, let's finish off the verse. This is the same Mordechai, Asher Hagla Mirushalayim. We mentioned the fact that he was exiled from Jerusalem. He was a great man, probably actually Gadola. Imagola, Asher Galtim Yachla Melech Yehuda, Shegilim Yechazem Melech Bavel. It says, by the way, he was connected to Yerushalayim. All of his actions are going to be there to help us return to our previous glory in Yerushalayim. We'll stop over there. Somebody remind me next class where we are, and we'll pick this up next class in Yes Hashem.
Thank you.
Good job, everyone.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thank you.